Hey guys, so a man by the name of Nigel Pelham is being sentenced to 20 months in jail in the UK for stirring up religious hatred on Facebook. Now, he did say some pretty shitty stuff. Like, I read a few of his comments, and yeah, I don't agree, I don't condone what he said. It was like, we should have Bomb a Muslim Day, and, obviously that's not good, but it's not actually necessarily calling to action either. It's just, I guess, under the UK's laws, it's hate speech, and it needs to be shut down apparently. But it's kind of funny. It's rich how they don't shut down like a lot of the people who are supporting ISIS or people who are like laughing whenever there's a terrorist attack and who are like saying the exact same shit but about Londoners or about other people, Westerners, and they don't ever get shut down, right? Like these laws are never applied. They're only applied to one group, to one demographic. They're never applied to everybody equally, right? Like a lot of these hate speech laws, a lot of these hate crime laws, like very rarely will you see a hate crime law being applied to like a white person, right? That's that's not who it's for. And so yeah, it's clearly these laws are just made to target the native population, pretty much shut them up when they want to bitch about the terrorism shit that's going on in their country, and they feel like they need some place to vent, but now they can't even do that because they're gonna go to jail for like 20 months or a couple of years, and I think this is essentially like a death sentence too, right? Like a lot of the prisons are filled with Muslims, right? So look at Tommy Robinson. Look what happened to that guy. Look what happened to the guy who threw bacon on a mosque, and that guy went to jail, right, for throwing bacon on a mosque, and then he got stabbed and killed in jail for that, right? So, like, it's not only they're putting you in jail, like they're knowingly putting your life at risk too, right, by putting you in those jails, and they everybody knows what you did, and if the jails are full of like 50, 60% Muslims, yeah, that's you're not going to be safe, right? And this also comes on, like, granted, he said a lot of these things in 2015. This has been in court for a little while, but Sadiq Khan, people in the UK, they can spend all this money tracking down people saying mean things on the internet, but specifically Londoners saying mean things about refugees or Muslims, but not vice versa. But they can't track down like 400 jihadists that they know are in their country, or the thousands that they know are in their country, right? Like Sadiq Khan was having an interview, and he's like, we don't have the resources, we don't have the money to do this. We need to. It's like, what's more important? Like, I was agreeing with Pierce Morgan, right? That piece of shit. And I was actually agreeing with that idiot, and he was right. You know, like, how do you not have money for terrorists to track down terrorists, right? It's like, what's more important than that? Like, terrorism does more than just kill. You can't just look at them as a number like you do other things. Like, oh, it's only killing 10 to 15 in comparison to 50 people are dying in car accidents every day. It does more. When a car accident happens and people die in a car accident, people aren't afraid to leave their homes. They aren't afraid to go to concerts. They aren't afraid to do things. But when a terrorist attack happens at a random location, that's a psychological effect on the entire population in that area. So it's a completely different thing, and should be tamped down on more so than the crimes he thinks are more important, like fucking hate speech and people saying mean things about Muslims. So, this is crazy. This has become like 1984, and that's why we gotta watch out in Western countries like Canada, United States. Like, we don't want to turn into this. And Canada is already becoming that because of Trudeau. So, you know, America, use us as an example. Like, with Motion 103, which is not a bill yet, but this is moving towards a bill, it's going to pretty much ban Islamophobia, hate speech. Like, this is what it's going to move towards. And it's going to be like Europe. And then because he's planning on bringing massive amounts of refugees to Canada. And anybody who's complaining about, you know, guys who are beating their wives with hockey sticks, like just happened recently in Canada, the guy didn't know he wasn't allowed to beat his wife. Like, when we complain about that, yeah, we're going to be thrown in prison too. And it's like, this is just going to be another way they're going to shut us up. So, hopefully this guy doesn't, I don't agree with what he said. Once again, I think that's not helpful at all. And it's wrong to, be happy about Muslims dying, or, call for them to be bombed or whatever. So I don't agree with any of that. But, we can't be jailing people for saying this type of shit. It wasn't calling to action. And we need to just let people be free to speak their thoughts. Otherwise, they're going to react and act out like that one guy did in London. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, like, people need to express themselves. So let them at least express themselves, and then I think that would at least, stop some of the violence. But, that's all I pretty much had to say about this. If you like my content, subscribe and have a great day.